Where's your costume? It's Halloween. What the?
It's a fucking Hogan Zombie t-shirt. It doesn't get more Halloween than this.
It's Halloween. Get your costume, Ida. Come on.
You really are a fucking baby.
I didn't wear this for nothing.
Okay, fine. I'm going.
Here we go. Halloween, baby. Halloween.
We are taking over.
Put him in the common clutch. I'll make him on the cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Acknowledge me.
Halloween. Look at this guy. Look at this
Look
guy.
at this fucking Hollywood blonde jabroni. Worse than Michael Jackson. Are you happy now, Credo?
I'm happy. This is Halloween now, man. Are you going to do the accent the whole night, though?
Bubba, please don't fucking interrupt me, huh?
This is great. We have a Halloween special now. I love it. This is then people can see us. This is great, guys. Kuda, man, I think, Halloween's happening right now. What better way to get going than talk about some Halloween Havoc?
I like the idea. And our good friend, Pantry Mike, was good enough to write a little recap for us.
That's right.
Why don't we see what he got for us this week, Rita?
That's right, man. And we got a rating system, too. So I figure I'll talk about some of the matches. Maybe you give us the rating system, right?
Sounds good.
When we
Let's
get
do
to
this.
it. All right. So, man, Halloween Havoc was happening from Hershey, Pennsylvania, right down the road from us, not too far. A lot of things are going on. I guess start from the bottom, work our way up to the top, man.
Pause.
Yeah, let's get into it. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to do this the whole show. I don't know how they do this all night and know what's going on. All right, it's the mask. Obafemi versus Tony D'Angelo for the North American Championship in a table, ladders, and scares match. Halloween, right?
Oh, boy.
So it was a good back and forth, but not as good as their last match with the title change earlier this month. Tony need help of the family to get Oba down for the 3. Oba stays protected at the expense of Tony looking weaker this outing. What did you think about this match, man? This is for the North American Championship.
All right, we're going to do 3 pumpkins on Ethan Page's head.
3 pumpkins on
That's
Ethan.
the rating system this week.
3 out of 5? 3 out of 5 pumpkins on
That's
Ethan.
correct. That's correct.
On Ethan Page's head, man. So, no, not too bad. Not a bad opener. Like I said, what happened too this past week on NXT, Tony got a phone call, which is going to lead up to the 2300 ECW NXT show next week.
Nice.
And I think it's the FBI. I think it's little Guido.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I think it's a part of the family, so we'll see what happens with that. But either way, getting underway with our Halloween episode with Halloween Havoc. Oh, my goodness, this whole fucking... All right. This whole...
I think I feel with this fucking mustache. Quit your bitching.
Oh, we could do this every week. We'll dress up in a new...
No. One and done, Credo. One and done.
This is going to be the highest rated episode, and we're going to wonder why, and it's because we
look like fucking idiots.
That's it. This is it, guys. This is what we're getting right here. This is the Halloween episode. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. I want to say like Valkyrie. That's what I want to say, but it's Vaquer.
Okay.
But I keep getting messed up with that. So with Roxanne as our NXT Women's Champion and the hype behind Julia and Stephanie, this seemed odd to have our second match. Roxy and Julia and Vaquer worked so well that they were able to make Cora Jade look like she belonged in this match. He thought Vaquer was the standout here, especially getting the pin on a nice-looking spinal tap. Crowd was very into this match. It was a good show of all the talent, except for Cora Jade. So I don't know. This women that came in, they're starting to build this women's division like no other company.
Shapiro, what's your deal with Cora Jade, bro?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll have to ask him. So what do you think? What's the rating for this match, though, if I ever saw it? What do you think about it?
4 pumpkins on Ethan Page's head.
4 pumpkins on Ethan Page's head.
Right.
All right, another way. Speaking of this, they are building something with a lot of these women. So after the match happened, a promo from Zarya, formerly Delta, was shown, ending with her being seen in the upper levels of the arena. So another top Australian name coming out in NXT. Like I said, they're building this women's NXT brand up really big with a lot of these signings recently. So
and they got to be real careful. You know why?
What's that?
Australia is very close to Japan, Credo.
Oh my goodness. Same side of the country, same side of the world, different continents, but either way. So I mean, the women of NXT are definitely ones to be reckoned with now. I guess there's a lot of good that's happening down there. I do have something to say about the next match we'll get into. It's Andre Chase versus Ridge Holland in an ambulance match. Let me read Mike's thing. I'll tell you my 2 cents about this.
Okay.
So Mike said, as one of those more obscure gimmick matches, thought both men did the best with this that they could. There were some nice spots, including Ridge Holland's slingshot on Chase into the ambulance door. Ridge gets the win, and his heel push continues. Andre Chase, his opponent, man, I don't know what he does from here because he does not look like a wrestler. He looks like a commentator that's fighting. He's got the whole college gimmick, wearing college old sweatshirts, and like whatever is Chase University. Dude does not look like he belongs wrestling I do not see him moving up. I do not see him. If he does move up, it's going to be like commentary team. I don't know how this guy's still going around. But
Credo?
Yeah.
2 3/4 pumpkins on Ethan Page's head.
I need it. How would the Sheik say it?
Bubba, please. It's 2 3/4 pumpkins on Ethan Page's head. Ah,
there you go. That's how he would say it.
Mm-hmm.
So, after this match, Ava, The Rock's daughter, announced backstage that at the upcoming NXT show in the ECW arena, Jada Parker versus Lola Vice will be a no DQ match and will have a special guest referee, Dawn Marie. So, ECW alumni, WWE alumni. Stepping back in ECW, I guess they got to build a 2300. Got to build some ECW names.
You like the fact that they've. We'll get into that again later on. But you like the fact that they're bringing in some ECW people for this show?
I think it's the perfect. It's what you need. You can't just go to 2300 without mentioning ECW or at least having an appearance by some ECW alumni. It's needed. And it's a good way to work the old legends in with the younger talents and kind of like mix those realms together, right? So
okay.
Whatever. Kalani Jordan, the NXT Women's North American Champion, versus Jasmine Nix, JC Jane, and Fallon Henley in a gauntlet title match. I hope I pronounced all those names right because I can't even see like 5 feet in front of me with this damn thing on my face.
I can't talk with this mustache.
We're not even halfway through.
I'm taking this thing off.
Halloween's not over though, right?
I don't care. I can't talk.
All right. Well, so Mike said Kalani looked good in this match, quickly disposing of Nix and with a little more effort knocking off JC Jane, who is probably a career NXT wrestler, he says, because she was like, I think she kind of got moved up, and once again they brought her right back down to the beginning. So,
got nothing for you, kid.
They got nothing for you, kid. I know. Fallon Henley though ended up pinning Kalani after interference from Jasmine, and JC Henley and crew grabbed the mic to start a gloat, and the lights go out. I'm trying to. What's going on here? Zarya appears in the ring and disposes of the Stooges, and then hits Henley with a spear, and then an F5. So the women mixing it up a little bit.
Credo?
Yeah.
3 1/4 pumpkins on Ethan Page's head.
All right, 3 1/4 for Mike the Shapiro, leaving us the notes for that. We did have a Bully Ray segment with Dave LaGreca. They're giving their thoughts on the show, and Ridge Holland confronts Bubba, because they won't say. I don't know why they won't say Bully on the show.
Because he's known as Bubba Ray down there.
I know,
and they have it trademarked, and they want to use it, which I think is crazy because, if I'm not mistaken, they did mention it was Busted Open. And on Busted Open, he's known as Bully Ray.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just weird to me.
No, so I mean, I get it, right? So especially if you're going to ECW, you got to pull out the whole Dudley Boys. Don't really call, he didn't really make a name for himself down there as Bully. So either way, had a little backstage thing. They're going to have a match at the 2300 show next week. So we'll see what happens. Tag team match of that. Tatum Paxley appeared out of a box near the stage, spins the wheel of match stipulations, and gets a casket match against Wendy Chu on the upcoming episode of NXT. And then, like, right here, it's a small show. It's NXT. It's the Halloween show, Halloween Havoc. Just do it on the show. Make it a quick, it could have been a quick match, but they're saving the casket match for next week, I guess.
That's kind of cool, though.
You know.
I mean, I like the idea of there being like an Extreme Rules type of match in the ECW arena. I can't call it the 2300 arena or whatever the they want to call it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I know.
That's always going to be the ECW arena, no matter who buys it, no matter how it's renovated.
Yeah.
Listen, the Civic Center is still the Poughkeepsie Civic Center to me. The Neshua What?
The Mid-Hudson Civic Center.
Whatever. Fuck off. God damn it.
I know. Don't keep changing the names of our buildings. I think it's like the movie
know.
Basketball, where in the beginning of the movie, all these buildings are getting bought out, like the Maxi Tampon Stadium or to like all these corporations. And I'm like, just leave it. I was like, could you imagine MSG being bought and being called like
The Trojan Man. Trojan Man Square Garden?
Right, exactly. So I'm like, come on, stop renaming it. Anyway, so it brings us almost to our main event, right? So we have Ethan Page versus Trick Williams, the NXT champion, in a Devil's Playground match. No DQ, no count out, falls count anywhere, Cooter. Last month or so, Ethan Page lost the championship to Trick. This is kind of like a rematch in that. So see what happens with this. So Mike said, hopefully this is a blow off to this feud, right? As Ethan Page is too good for NXT, he says. He's the best.
I kind of agree with that. You agree with that?
I think he's got the ego. He's got the charisma. I think he's pretty good with it. But he says he is the best Page in wrestling right now. So, and that includes Saraya.
Oh God!
So he's bringing up all the Pages, guys.
What about Diamond Dallas Page?
I know. I was saying Adam Page. There's a lot of Pages in wrestling. So he said there was a great spot with Trick putting a pumpkin on top of Page's head. Hence our rating system for tonight.
Okay.
And then before he hit his move, Page ends up grabbing a black bag from under the ring, and it turned out to, which I thought this was funny, it was weird, it turned out to be nuts and washers. So it was like, it looks cool on screen on TV, but it's like, it doesn't have the same impact when you see like thumbtacks or something. There was some nuts in there, but
tell
like
you what, nuts and bolts, that should have fucking hurt, dude.
But a lot of it was washers, like the flat, and it was just like stick. So
okay,
I'm sure they probably had it, like they couldn't use this on whatever the rating was on. So whatever. So that's what he used. Trick Willie gets the win here to retain his title. After the match, Ridge Holland came down to attack Trick. Bubba comes in to help him, maybe leading, he said, to the Trick and Bubba versus Ridge and Page at the ECW show, which I believe is going to happen. So T-Von, get the tables. That's what he's calling it. So out of this main event, Halloween Havoc, what do we get it? What's
3.5 pumpkins on Ethan Page's head.
3.5 pumpkins. I love it. So shout out to Mike Shapiro reporting for us. We watched it. We checked it out. But it's sometimes you got to leave the work to the writers, right? You got to let them write.
He did leave us some fake news though for NXT. He wants to be like Meltzer. So we're going to give you some fake reports as if we were, Meltzer.
All right. You want to do it like a back and forth? You want to go back, or how do you want to do this? You want to go back?
Yeah, I could do this one.
Maybe even some fake audience laughter might like help for the.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, because nobody laughs at me ever. According to a source, when Dawn Marie was called to appear on the ECW show, she agreed after just hearing November and not the date because her calendar said nothing anyway. Let's see. Second one. Reports indicate Shawn Michaels had what some call a senior moment. When asked about the stacked women's roster with Julia, Vacker, and now Zarya, Shawn said, "I feel bad for the guy who has to book this I like that one.
No, it's awesome. This is great. Keep it going.
In regards to Stephanie Vacker's Day of the Dead makeup looking very similar to Thunder Rosa's, sources tell me Vacker called Rosa and asked her, "Do you mind if I copy your makeup? You don't seem to be using it much nowadays anyway." According to the source, the ambulance match between Ridge and Chase has been in the works since before Vince McMahon left. Vince originally wanted to do a spot where Big E hid in the ambulance to attack Ridge Holland while still sporting a neck brace. Thank God Vince is gone. And last but not least, this is bad. Because the November 6th episode of NXT from the ECW Arena will be live, the network has asked production to be on point for censoring the show. They are worried if Roadkill makes an appearance and the crowd will recall the "you sheep" chant. Hearing backstage, Cora Jade's excuses for being the black sheep in the women's tag match at Halloween Havoc are due to her still getting used to having to work around her new fake tits. And that is your fake news of the week from Mike's Pantry Report.
Nice, man. I'll definitely have to get Mike on here or wherever we can get him out of the pantry. See where he's lurking for that one, though. I love it, though. It's a little fake headlines, a little comedy, a little humor to it. Stepping back, though, into a little bit of reality, Cooter, some news, some things are going on, right? So let's talk about it. We can't be all totally spooky on the Halloween episode.
Of course not,
so,
no.
I do want to bring up, so WWE launched their new indie development program. They're calling it WWE ID. So let me just read some of what happened here. They said WWE just launched a groundbreaking development program called WWE ID to create a clearer pathway for independent wrestling, aiming for WWE careers. Announced by WWE's Chief Content Officer, Triple H, the WWE ID program seeks to boost the independent wrestling ecosystem by partnering with top-tier wrestling schools like Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, and Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Academy. Through WWE ID, selected wrestling schools will receive the official WWE designation, allowing them to provide enhanced training, mentorship, and development to trainees. Additionally, top independent prospects identified by WWE ID will gain financial support, training access, and world-class mentorship to further develop their skills. Fans will get a unique chance to follow the journeys of these rising stars through exclusive content and match highlights on WWE's social media. So this is happening. So they're kind of like taking over the independent scene, I guess, on this side of the pond, if you will.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's a way of getting some younger talent and getting them young and getting them acclimated to the way they want them to perform.
Yeah.
It also monopolizes them and gives them an opportunity where if they're going to one of these schools, they have a better chance of getting to WWE, which kind of takes away from the possibility of them going elsewhere, whether it's AEW or maybe Japan, because they work different styles. And, you know, unless you want to stab somebody with a syringe or burn somebody's house down, I mean, in WWE is where you want to be. I mean, this is a great opportunity just for everybody involved, whether it's the wrestlers, whether it's WWE itself, and also these schools, because I'm sure they're going to get some type of kickback.
I keep laughing because I'm laughing for the person just tuning in and seeing you talk with no. And it's like it's the Halloween episode, right? You look like anyway. He had a mustache on before he took it off, but no. Anyway, it's just funny because if they're just like clicking onto it and it's just hilarious to me. But no, you're 100% right of what's going on. You know, some people said online that this is kind of like. They're afraid that it's kind of like what they did with WWE UK, to where when WWE UK, when they started that whole thing, WWE kind of signed a lot of the UK talent out there to where they couldn't perform anywhere else. Do you think that's kind of going to happen here? I mean, if you're wrestling at Cody Rhodes' place or whatever.
They don't mention any of that in the report. Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're not technically signed to WWE. They're just going to, I guess, maybe WWE promoted schools. Yeah. I mean, so this doesn't guarantee you're going to WWE. I don't think it's going to, you know, prohibit you from going anywhere else once you, graduate or whatever they call it. I mean, it's just an interesting opportunity because these schools are going to be sponsored by WWE and they have the opportunity to have the eyes on them. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's good for everybody involved, especially WWE, because they get like pretty much first dibs on anybody.
Sure.
I mean, but, you know, this could be bad for other companies, wouldn't you think?
No, yeah. I mean, like WWE is transforming wrestling schools into their mini performance centers, while in AEW, wrestlers are asked to observe the Young Bucks and learn. Slap the knee, kid. You're doing it wrong.
I mean, you feel bad for other promotions. I mean, I know TNA has somewhat of a working relationship with WWE, but when you look at other companies like MLW or any other local area type of promotions, it just sucks because, you know, the hoops that you're going to have to jump through now to get talent, and it's going to be tough for them to keep these. NWA, what are they going to do? You know, I mean, it's good for WWE. I think it's bad for everybody else.
No, yeah, and I hope they leave it open, though. I hope they leave it open so that, I'm wrestling at Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. I can also wrestle at X, Y, and Z. That's, you know what I mean? To where I hope they don't exclusively sign talent right away. I hope it's really open, right? I hope it's really fluid so that everybody can go everywhere. Because once it starts coming down to that, I'm assigned exclusively to this. It's, you know.
But you're talking about schools and academies. I don't feel like they're going to be. Because if you're going to be sponsoring a shit ton of schools like this, that's a lot of money to invest. And I don't think that's something that they have to do in terms of paying these people. That's going to be up to the local bookers and the people in those schools and how these people are probably going to get paid. I mean, I'm just making assumptions. I don't know these things for a fact, but to me, that's what makes sense. I mean, why are we going to spend all this money on talent that we're not making money off of ourselves?
Yeah. And I think I heard Gabe Sapolsky. I never know how to say this dude's last name.
I'm a Polak, and I still can't say it either.
So I think he's going to be kind of in charge of this. This kind of reminds me, though, of years ago when Evolve Wrestling kind of had something similar. Didn't they have some WWE like prospects down there? And I could have swore they were trying to even get their footage for like the network at the time. They showed some of these Evolve matches on TV, right?
I want to say I remember it was Trevor Murdoch and Fury had a title match on the WWE Network at the time, because this was before Peacock. So, I mean, they had, I want to say it was 1 or maybe 2 Evolve cards on there, which was kind of cool. But then they just ended up, rolling the Evolve talent into NXT, which kind of sucked because Evolve was a really cool promotion.
No, for sure. And, it's going to be interesting, though. It's definitely going to change the landscape a little bit because, I mean, as independent wrestlers are, right, is your goal going to be like, well, maybe don't shoot for WWE. Let me shoot for these schools that have the WWE ID on it. And then if I get into there, hopefully I can get into the WWE, if you will, right? So, I mean, maybe it might make talent kind of look for these schools or who's going to be used, because it's not just those 3 that I announced. There's also Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center in Concord, New Hampshire, Knox Pro Academy in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So those are the first independent wrestling schools to officially have that title, WWE ID. So including Booker T's, Cody's, and Seth Rollins and stuff. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, the landscape's a little bit changing, but is it going to hurt places like maybe AEW? Could WWE ID? They could probably sign these guys. And maybe you can't appear in that, but you can go do like the house show in New England or something.
See, I kind of like this for them, just in a sense where their roster is getting a little bit older. It's not as old as AEW. I mean, what we had Sting just retire last year. You know what I mean? There's just a plethora of older talent that's at the end of their career in AEW. This is a great way for them to stay ahead of the curve. They get first dibs and first looks on all these talents. It's great for them. I'm telling you, this is a brilliant move. This is probably one of the best ideas that I've heard them have.
Never have, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's happening,
I can't tell if you're looking at me with that stupid fucking mask.
That's great. I could be just looking at this the whole time, but I'm looking. It's like I'm looking at you. Oh my goodness. But no, a lot of other things are going on. RVD and Katie Forbes, his
I saw this.
open up Only Wrestlers. Now Katie Forbes. She said everyone's heard of OnlyFans. I don't know. I mean, maybe you've heard of it, Cooter.
Not me, but I heard you have a few.
Only Credos. Only.
How many subscriptions do you have, Credo?
I'm not paying for this shit. I got that's too much. I don't have enough money for that. I don't have enough money for pay-per-views. I can't pay for the wrestlers' lifestyles now. Anyway, well, Katie Forbes said everyone's heard of OnlyFans, right? So Rob Van Dam and herself made the website called Only Wrestlers. It's pretty much the same concept. She said, so wrestlers can post whatever content they want. Didn't say anything about X-rated stuff, but said whatever content they want, and fans can interact with us. We're excited to create a space that allows for genuine connections between fans and wrestlers. Now, Cooter, I went to this site. I'm on it right now. I'm checking it out. To me, at first glance, it kind of reminds me of like a Cameo. Like you can, what you want. You can see what the current wrestlers. There's a section for wrestlers that are live now. If you click on wrestlers right now, you got RVD and Katie Forbes as a free subscription. Then you got people on here like Charlie Haas already. Sabu's on here. Just skipping through and seeing what's on here.
Is Joey Ryan on here yet?
Oh my God! Well, I got to make money somehow. I guess this is okay. For example,
it's not the first time he's tried to make money off his right.
John Morrison's on it. Let's click on somebody. Let's see. Let's see a name that people might know. Oh my God, I don't know. There's some people that what the hell is that? I don't want you to see this at home, but there's a few wrestlers on here. So
who the fuck is that?
There's a lot of independent stars. I think people want to pay a subscription to see them. All right, let me go to the first page because that'll probably have. Let's see what Charlie Haas and Sabu. So for Sabu, I go to his page. I could send him a tip. I can get a monthly subscription for $10 a month, $9.95 to be specific.
Okay.
Or I could pay $100 to have a yearly subscription to Sabu and whatever content he's going to post.
Oh, fantastic.
Am I? What are we paying? What am I paying $100 for Sabu?
I don't know. This is why it's like
And you say
so
it's exactly
awkward.
like OnlyFans, so I'm like, are we talking buttholes here, or like, what are we paying for this $100? I want to know.
I don't. I get it. It's actually not the worst idea.
Yeah.
The problem I see is it's basically going to be all indie wrestlers. It's not going to be because WWE is not letting their talent go on this website and make money. I mean, back in the day, they had their problems with Twitch and people having.
They're gonna get a cut.
Look at was it Mandy Rose who started up an OnlyFans and they canned her?
She ever did, yeah. But.
Oh, of course, and you can't blame her. This is a great idea. You're just not going to get that type of high, like.
What are you giving me? Right?
Yeah.
I'm paying for a subscription. So, like, what am I getting? Because, like, on their page, you have a feed. Honestly, it looks like a Facebook page. Like, it's like their page. It has their feed, their videos, their video on demand, galleries, merchandise, and live streaming.
I can also see this being really bad for wrestlers, too, though, in a way.
I mean,
because, depending on what type of content they post up on there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I paid $10 to see so-and-so spread her cheeks, right?
Yep.
And that's going to stop her from getting a contract with WWE one day if she was never signed or whatever.
Have to give this up before you do anything else.
Yeah, and even then, it's already out there. Everybody's already seen it. It is what it is.
I can understand to where, for RVD and Katie Forbes, they're kind of going to get the residuals, right?
Of course.
All these signups, they're going to kind of get that extra money from this. Everybody else,
smart for them, dumb for everybody else who joins.
And I mean, so what's the difference between this and like going to the person's Twitter page or their Facebook page or their Instagram page or their TikTok page?
You know
Everybody
what the
TikTok
difference
land
is.
out there, right?
You know what the difference is.
That's it. That's the only difference.
It's the content, baby.
So we're saying Katie Forbes talked RVD into doing this just so she could post her pictures on this and not.
I don't know. Listen,
we
I
don't
can't
know.
speak for what she wants to do or post.
I agree. It is a good idea because you have it's almost like a pro wrestling tea store. You go there, you can buy their merch, and they get a cut of it. You go here, you can get it's the content that I'm like, what am I getting out of it? Because like, why am I going to pay for a Charlie Haas subscription compared to a Katie Forbes subscription?
What is Charlie Haas? I got to know. I gotta know. What is he charging?
So monthly is $12.95.
Ooh,
but yearly is $99.95.
But does it tell you what you're getting for that?
So it doesn't say anything yet. The only thing it said, like, let's go. I hope I don't get. What? I gotta log in. I clicked on it. Now I'm subscribed for a year, Cooter. Now I gotta see this. No, so I it doesn't say exactly yet. But like I said, I think it's like a thing to where they'll put out content. Chilling by the pool and like, okay, I'm paying. Like, unless you're really a big Charlie Haas fan, like, you could see the stuff on social media unless they're posting the privates.
Charlie, what are you going to be posting, my man?
I'm saying so.
It's a little weird.
I get it. At the end of the day, because people podcasts, doing interviews. A lot of people are charging now, so like you can't just do it for free. You can't just.
What the fuck are we doing, Credo?
You can't just call them. I don't know. So it's like they have a place now for only wrestlers. I mean, I don't know.
Can we stop talking about buttholes and just start talking about the updated Crown Jewel card, please?
Oh, subscription to buttholes. All right. Well, Katie Forbes, RVD, we welcome you on the show. We're happy to talk about it because
because he's gonna kick my head off just for what I just said. That's not a good idea.
Where's that mustache? We gotta get the Sheik back in here. No, all right. So yeah, Crown Jewel's upon us, Cooter. It's before we get out of this costumes and stuff. Halloween's over after today, but we're having the Crown Jewel. So we talked pretty much a lot about this card. As soon as we heard what was going to happen, having champion versus champion to win the Crown Jewel championships. But we had other matches added to this we could talk about and see what you think about what's going on, right? So we have, first and foremost, this match I don't know. I'm on the fence with this. Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. I feel like they don't know what to do with both of them, so we're going to put both of them in a match. I don't know. Are you feeling this kind of a feud? This match? There's been a little bit of a build-up, but at the same time, I'm like...
I think it's going somewhere else on top of this. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a one and done.
Yeah.
I think this might be an extended program. I think these two work really well together.
Yeah.
Randy Orton is the old vet. He's the lion, the last year of the pride, before he fucking croaks or whatever, and like just trying to hold on. And you got like hungry Kevin Owens pissed off at the world going at him, and I think it's a great little dynamic that they got going on, especially with who's going to be, with Cody and because Randy's had his back the way that Kevin had his back. Yeah. Does this lead to like Kevin maybe showing Randy that, dude, he's been screwing us both over, and then maybe Randy turns? Because honestly, I think that's something everybody wants to see too. I think people would be really interested in a Cody and Randy Orton program.
No, for sure.
Before he goes.
Yeah, so this, for me, like I said, I feel like it's like a limbo match, right? They're in like a limbo stage until whatever happens outside of Crown Jewel, see where we can get a new program with one of these guys, because they're definitely both in that main event contendership, so we'll see what happens. They did add a triple threat match for the United States Championship to this. We got LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade. It's pretty good. I mean,
that build-up was cool because what did they do? That best of 7 series match?
They were like one of the wrestlers that wrestled.
And then LA Knight was the special guest referee and screwed it over. Yep. And it was like, man, I did not invest in 7 matches. Now I hate LA Knight because I love these two, man. Yeah. I really like Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade has been one of my favorites since NXT. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. Pause. And
he's pausing himself.
And yeah, because that was flagrant, bro. That could have cost me a 3-game suspension right there. No, I just to see where this is going. Now we get a triple threat. So now it meant something. So instead of having to face one of these guys, now you got to face both of them. I thought it was a cool little move.
Sure. We talked about this a while ago, to where LA Knight had like this hot streak going, right? And then it was right before last year's SummerSlam where Randy Orton and CM Punk both came back. And as soon as they came back, LA Knight wasn't the coolest kid in the room anymore, right?
No.
It almost feel like he fizzled out a little bit. So we got him to the United States Championship finally this year, and he's been running the past few months with it. So I think, though, out of this match, I feel like an upset should happen here. I really think they got to do something with Carmelo Hayes. They got to put a championship on him. Being this young, he got moved up from NXT. Incredible talent, but at the same time, I feel like they don't know what to do with him. They stuck him with Andrade, also good. But I'll tell you, whether it's Carmelo or Andrade, I feel like one of them winning the United States Championship would be good. And it would be good for all these guys.
Are you over the whole LA Knight thing? Because I'm kind of there. Like, it's just not...
Yeah, it's not like I don't hate him. I don't care. I'm not tuning in. At the same time, I feel like this dude needs to chase a championship and not just hold on to it right now. Yeah. And giving it to one of these other guys for kind of being the workhorses for over the past few months would be a nice little nod to them. And winning the United States Championship in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I don't want to be a... I like LA Knight in like very small doses. Like he's palatable for me in small doses. I to see him holding a belt and just being on TV every week in this position where it's awkward with him holding a title for me. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. There's just something that's
Does he not need it? It probably doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't need
he falls in that Roddy Piper, Jake Roberts realm to me. Like, he doesn't need the title. He's an attraction on his own.
Exactly.
He really doesn't need it. I'm glad that he finally got that brass ring and got a belt, but he's one of those guys where I don't think he needs it for his career to be defined as awesome, because he's good, but this run, it's just left something less to be desired for me. I don't know. I don't know.
100%. Yeah. No. I have no bad things to say about him. Pretty good. But moving right along, we got the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championships. We have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the champions right now, taking on Damage Control's Io Sky and Kairi Sane, and also Chelsea Green, Piper Niven. I'm trying to read down this list because I can't even see past my freaking eyes with this damn mask on. Happy Halloween, everybody joining us. These are our Halloween costumes, and I can't see 5 feet in front of me. So did I even name the 4 teams? No, we have that. Oh, we got the... Oh, my goodness. I'm trying to read this at the same time. I can't even see. Who we got? Oh, the wild card, we got Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. Dude, Lash Legend, I'll tell you what. She's in the ring a few weeks ago on SmackDown. She's bigger than Jade Cargill. She's huge. I think that's why they've been kind of testing the waters with her coming up on the main roster, having these matches. But when they see them next to each other, it makes Jade Cargill look tiny. And it's something to say. She got a shit name, but I mean... That's
a conversation we got to have.
Yeah.
Is Jade Cargill.
What are they doing, right? I guess
I don't get it.
Good. What else are you going to offer us?
It's going to be a year since I think she debuted, because I want to say she debuted... Did she debut at Survivor Series?
I'm not sure.
Or at least they maybe announced that she signed, I want to say.
It was for a while, and then then she didn't debut for a few months.
Until the Rumble, I want to say.
Yeah.
I just feel like they had such high hopes for her, and she's just been stuck in this tag team. I don't feel like maybe she's made the progress in their style that they were hoping that she would.
No, yeah. And so these girls too. So I mean, but the Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson coming up from NXT, adding more weight to the women's division, I guess, for the tag team championships on the show. I don't know if they're going to move up, or if they do win the championships, they could bring that back to NXT, give NXT something to do with, because they got a lot of women on the show now. We mentioned before.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think the main roster really needs the women's tag titles. I think there's some rumors that they might even have their own mid-card title soon for women, like an IC championship or a US championship for women.
They have a North American title.
So yeah, but not.
Oh, you're talking about for the main roster?
Yeah, for the main roster. So I think they might move those down and then because there's a lot more women, I think, in NXT right now than there is
That's going to
for
be
tag
rough
teams.
though, Credo. Just because I feel like, depending on what happens in Raw in January, like SmackDown is 2 hours and Raw is 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the shorter show, but because I feel like they have such a big roster for Raw, I feel like certain things are just getting rushed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have the room for another belt. Like think of all the titles that they had in WCW.
Yep.
Right? You even had a TV title that was defended every week, but Nitro was a 3-hour show. So I don't know, man. Like I don't know if that's the greatest idea. Let me ask you a question. Here's a good one for you. If WWE, because they have this great roster of women,
Yep.
if they had a just all women show, do you think it would outdraw the WNBA?
You know, funny you said this. We joked a while ago that I was on Total Bellas because I was backstage at
Yes.
Evolution. I was backstage at the women's
Mr.
pay-per-view.
Name Dropping Credo. I remember. Yes.
And so, you know, I went to that pay-per-view, and watching it, at first I was kind of worried because I'm like, all right, an all-women show. When you're there watching it, they had a lot of names because at the time they also had the Bellas back then. They had Ronda Rousey.
They had the star power.
Yeah, so they had a lot of names for the women's division. So they filled the show, no problem. And that was a pay-per-view. Today, you have so much talent. There's an abundance that they're putting it on Twitch or Twitter for the Speed Championship, right? You have so much talent that they're using it for all these little things. I think you almost need an all-women's show because a lot of them, you have a match here, a match there, but you still have this abundance of women that, like, okay, what should we do with them? I think like a show on, well, if they put the network to Netflix or
I
something.
forget what the number was, Credo, but it's funny you say that. They said that once Raw dropped back down to 2 hours, the amount of women's matches per week dropped significantly. Yeah. And I feel like they're getting the short end of the stick because they have less time on Raw, which sucks because there's some great like we all make the joke about Shayna Baszler's and her little fucking faction there, which I love all three of them. I think they're all awesome in the ring. But like, when's the last time you seen them? And they were building them to be something, and now, we ain't got time for you, kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It sucks, dude.
They don't know what to do with the women sometimes, but like, you have this plethora of women, and you got to do something with it. So either way,
hey, there's always only wrestlers.
Only wrestlers, ladies. Don't worry, you still have a chance to make it somewhere else.
Oh, that's horrible.
So walking out of here, I think a lot of people are predicting the champions retain it, but I think I would like to see another upset over here. I think somebody like Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, been working, entertaining workhorses the past few months on just doing different things. Give them the championships for a little bit, put it back on them. They weren't ever. I don't think they're ever champions.
No,
I don't think.
I think they might have had a title shot at one point.
So
but
I feel like out of all these, the newer upcomers from NXT, I wouldn't put it on them right away. But unless you want to move the championships off the show, then I get it.
Right.
Other than that, I would want to see a Chelsea Green win out of this. So.
I'm with it.
All right.
I'm with it.
All right. So let's see. We got that out of the way. I think the biggest thing that I was surprised at they announced after Raw this week was Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the Bloodline in a 6-man tag team match.
Gee, I wonder who the odd man out in that one's going to be. Is it going to be Tongaloa?
The Tonga. So I didn't think it would be a 3-on-3 match for this. I figured you'd want to save that for War Games, maybe. No, it's only. I guess just build more to it, right?
I tell you what, I feel like the 3-on-3 with the numbers game, with somebody going to interfere, they still have a 4-on-3 advantage, and that's what's going to cause them to be. All right, we got to do this in a cage.
Yeah,
we got to get a fourth guy. For For all we know, it could be a 5-on-5. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this could. Where does The Rock play in?
The Rock in Riyadh. You think he's going to go all the way out there just for another little?
No. I'm talking about for war games. You know, The Rock's not going to Saudi Arabia. You kidding me? You got to be kidding me right now. No, I just
You're
feel
ready
like
to go to Saudi Arabia, yeah? For people tuning in right now. The Sheiky babies over there.
Bubba, that's the wrong country. Iran, #1.
I wish people could see from my point of view because I could barely see out of this
You
thing.
can't see from your point of view with that mask on.
To me, it looks like you have long hair under there because, like, I'm not used to seeing you with hair. But with your getup, it kind of looks like you have, like, you know, you're a rock star under there, man.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh man, if only I could see through the eyes of the mask out there. Anyway, so. You know, what's funny about this, I thought this was more funny, is that they announced this match after Raw before SmackDown even happened. Granted, people haven't really seen all three of them in the ring together hugging and like embracing one another because they taped 2 shows in Brooklyn last week because of this Saudi Arabia trip. So they didn't want them traveling the night before to go like 10 hours across the world, right? So
did you do a good job of trying to avoid those spoilers? Because I still haven't heard them. I'm very good at that.
Spoiler alert. So, well, that's what was funny but they even put it on their own WWE social media, and it was like the #1 video that they put out there. It was Roman Reigns getting in the ring with the Usos. Because then I was like, okay, well, they announced this. They hinted at it at Raw because it's weird because they taped SmackDown.
Yes.
Raw was live, and they hinted at what's going to happen on SmackDown.
But everybody already knows what the happened.
A lot of weird stuff they threw out there. I guess maybe they want to throw it out there for more ticket sales, but I can't. I feel like it's
ticket sales for what?
Exactly. That's why I'm like, why would they put this out Monday and not announce it on like Friday night before?
It's just easier to have the show in the can.
Sure.
So they have an easier time of travel and getting over there to Saudi Arabia, bro.
No, man. So, you know, I don't know. It's at 1 p.m., though. Are you ready for a 1 p.m.? Are you going to watch it?
I got a job. I got to work. Are you crazy?
You're not tuning into Peacock at 1
o'clock?
o'clock?
No, I'm going to watch it on replay because I got a party to go to afterwards, you know.
You know what I would always, I guess in the world of spoilers, I'm like, granted they show it live here, but they should have just showed it at like a nighttime, like our time zone. But then I guess everybody's going to know what happens right on social, like instead of playing it here at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock as opposed to.
Because you're going to be that Mark who's going to be sitting there on his fucking
spoilers.
Facebook feed looking, I wonder what's going to happen with Cody and Gunther.
No spoilers, please. Or
the one
watching
thing I do want to say is this whole Seth Rollins match with, what the hell is this guy's name?
Bronson Reed.
There's too many Reeds in this goddamn company, right? But they did a better job this week of building that than they did last week, wouldn't you say? I feel like, okay, Seth Rollins did the stomp on the car, and they made Bronson look like that monster again. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Rollins like, oh, shit. Like, here I thought I was this big badass. And as opposed to last week where I think they just overdid the whole fighting all over the place, the whole bullshit, the whole 9 yards. They did a better job of making Seth and putting doubt in his mind and the fans' mind. We're like, oh, well, this dude Bronson might have a good shot over here.
Sure, man.
I think they're doing a better job of building him than you might agree with.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said before, I'm not that I'm not impressed.
Yeah, you weren't the biggest fan of the build on him.
No, yeah, I mean, for me, he's not that big of a guy to where like Braun Strowman was when the dude was lifting semis in the back, right? So semis, that no.
I'm not pausing that one. I mean, that's on you, bro.
I mean, so they're building him like a monster, but then I'm like, where do you go from this? Because like. And in my way, he's having a lot of backstage brawls, and you know, like this beast, this monster. Are we building this just to an IC match against Braun Breaker, or like, where does this lead to? Are they just feeding this monster to Braun to make Braun look even stronger down the line, or like, what does he get out of this? Because I feel like ever since he came to the main roster, I think he came under Vince maybe, and then he left.
Yeah,
wasn't he? And then he came back.
I say he left and came back.
Yeah, I thought he was like a release, and they hired him back.
I think they released
Triple H. Yeah, so Triple H, he's a Triple H guy. I guess he really likes him. No, but I mean, either way, I think it's building up. I'm really out of all the matches on the show, I'm kind of curious how they're going to do the whole Cody and Gunther match. There we go. The mustache is back.
Oh, excellent, Bubba. Excellent.
So, you know, I'm kind of curious. Who's going to be the crown jewel? If your last prediction, who's winning it?
What, Gunther?
Gunther?
No question.
No question, Gunther.
No question it's going to be Gunther.
Now, what do you do with Cody after this? He's lost, but he didn't lose the championship. He just lost.
He's going to get screwed over by Kevin Owens or something like that. And like I said last week, I think it's great. It gives the world title more prestige because come Royal Rumble, you want people to be like, oh, who's the winner going to choose? Because they're going to choose Cody because it's going to be the more prestigious title.
Yeah.
But Gunther can always say, hey, man, I already beat Cody. So if you can beat me, then you can beat both of us and say that you're a man.
Yeah.
I think that most people are overlooking that fact.
Sure. So how do you, now, if you had to look into your magic crystal ball, Sheiky baby, if you could predict what Cody Rhodes is going to do up until Mania, do you see him walking into Mania with the championship, or do you see him losing it before before Mania, or what do you see with him in the next few months? Because if he does lose to Gunther, that means he's not the best of the best, right? So he's the second best in terms of
but if there's a screw job finish, does that really matter?
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
still going to make him look strong. If it just is what it is. Right now, he's their cash cow. He's what's making this shit. He's probably the most popular guy on the roster right now. So if he takes a loss and some screw job, it doesn't really hurt him.
All right. So Cooter, man, I don't know, Matt. I feel like Excalibur from AEW. How does he do this?
How many years you've been waiting to wear that Lamarca mask?
Lamarca, the mark. This is it, man. I bought this on like some Mexico website.
Hollywood blonde jabroni. I had you in the camel clutch. I was ready to make you humble.
He's going full
suplex you, put you in the camel clutch, break your back, and then fuck.
You never go full Sheik, baby. You never go full Sheik. We gotta get out of this. Sal's not here. Vinny, we gotta get out of this, man. Let's get out of this guy. Fucking never go full Sheik.